Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CleanR Grupa Investor Webinar. We will begin with a presentation from the company, followed by a live Q&A session. Throughout the call, we will be looking forward to receiving your questions. Please submit them in writing through the Q&A window below the presentation. For your convenience, we are recording the session and replay will be available shortly after the call. That being said, I'm handing over to our hosts, Juris Gulbis, CEO and Chairman of the Management Board, and Gatis Bulls, CFO of CleanR Grupa. Please, the floor is yours.
Yes, good morning and welcome to CleanR Grupa investor presentation. Today we will talk about our new bond issue program and we will tell about our success story, our current results, and our future development plans. And I will start this presentation. Today there will be two presenters, myself, Juris Gulbis, I'm Chairman of the Management Board of CleanR Grupa, and Gatis Bulls is our Chief Financial Officer. As usual, we start with disclaimer that you can read on your own, and short CleanR Grupa overview, which will follow with more detail into further presentation. CleanR Grupa is a diversified industry consolidator of environmental services and waste management in Latvia. We work in two main business lines, waste management and environmental services. In waste management, we cover full circular economy cycle. We start by collecting waste. We work with all waste components, municipal waste, industrial and demolition waste, medical and hazardous waste. We also sort all the different waste components. We recycle the waste in our plastic recycling company, and we finish the value chain with our producer responsibility system operating company. In environmental services, we have two business areas. One is indoor cleaning service, and the other was is urban road and street cleaning and maintenance. Our company has reached a turnover of 121 million euros in 2024 and quite healthy EBITDA of 25.5 million euros. We have pretty strong balance sheet with equity ratio of 51% and very little leverage. We are 100% Latvian capital company. We employ almost 2,000 people and serve 500,000 people in Latvia. Story of CleanR Grupa starts in 1944. We date back to municipal service department of Riga city. So last year we celebrated 80th anniversary of our company foundation. However, modern history started in 2014 when our biggest shareholder and founder of the group, Gunārs Kukarēvičs, acquired company and renamed it as a CleanR Grupa. So in 2015, we launched the biggest sorting facility, municipal waste sorting facility in Riga with pakalpojumu centers. In 2016, we entered into Liepāja region in western part of Latvia with pakalpojumu Liepāja. Then the next stage starts in 2020 and 2021. When we started spinning off businesses from CleanR and established the holding company CleanR Grupa. So in 2021, Visi was spun off from the core company. It's a business that works in indoor cleaning area. Holding company CleanR Grupa was established in 2022. In the same year, we acquired Zaļā josta, which is producer responsibility system, and RSC Noma, a company which operates in industrial waste. It was later merged with CleanR Verso, which operates in the same area. And the CleanR Verso itself was established and spun off from the group in 2023. And CleanR Industry was spun off in 2024. That's a company that operates our RDF business and refuse-derived fuel and also plastic recycling company. In 2024, we have also acquired company Lotus, which operates medical and hazardous waste business, TransitCell, which is city management, urban facility management company in western part of Latvia. And also going back to 2023, we acquired Komauto. It's based in Cēsis in eastern part of the country and operates in that area. It's also urban maintenance company. To summarize this slide, CleanR Grupa has grown by spinning off businesses from our main company and acquiring, actively working in M&A area, acquiring companies in complementary business areas. Our strategy is based on 3 strategic pillars. Number 1 is value creation and increase. Our target is to be one of the most valuable private companies in Latvia. We achieve that by organic growth and M&A activity. And that's why we also launching this bond issue program. Our plan is to finalize our acquisitions in Latvia and start expanding in the Baltic region. And that's how we are planning to use the proceeds of the program. The other aspect is circular economy leader in Latvia. We work in all circular economy aspects. We collect waste, we sort it, we recycle it, and we put it back into secondary use. And our target is reaching landfilling close to 0. The third pillar is operational efficiency. We invest a lot in IT and automation of our internal processes, logistics, customer service, and also we have acquired and invested in robotization of our indoor cleaning business, which I will talk about later, and also we invested a lot in our applications dedicated to customer communication, quality control, and customer feedback. All these 3 pillars are supported by group synergies, which we achieve through operating of centralized processes and functions. We centrally manage IT, finance, legal, and compliance and sustainability. Also, we are reusing our equipment within the group. For example, vehicles which are used to collect industrial and construction waste are reused in winter for cleaning and maintaining of the street, for plowing snow and spreading salt and other things on the streets. Also, we work a lot on employee efficiency. That's another support for our strategy. We work with targeted motivation programs, and also we have launched in 2023, we have launched management share option program, and as a result of that, 14 employees have become shareholders of the group, and another 4 are still holding options and converting them next year. Going forward, this legal structure of the group, our biggest shareholder is the group founder Gunārs Kokorevich, who owns 80% of the company, 86%, and Harijs Krongorns is the second biggest shareholder. He owns 10%. Management and employees own 3.75% at the moment, but total employee allocation is 5%, which will be achieved in future. Most of our key operating companies are 100% owned. However, in some of the companies we also have minority shareholders, such as Zaļā josta, which is producer responsibility system program, Vidas resource centrs, which is sorting facility for municipal waste, Vidas pakalpojumu Liepāja, and also some other smaller companies. Organizational structure is pretty standard in our case. Shareholders control the company through supervisory council, and management board reports to supervisory council. Management board consists of 4 members: board member for production and innovation, board member for compliance, ethics, and legal, board member for corporate governance and sustainability, and myself as chairman of the board with overall responsibility and financial HR, IT specifically. Our diversity position is quite balanced: 53% women, 47 men, average age 44 years. 16% of our employees work in admin, others are operating staff. So our supervisory council consists of 3 members. Gunārs Kokarēvičs is chairman of supervisory council, and he's also the biggest shareholder, as I've mentioned. He has 20 years of experience in environmental services industry. His prior jobs were CEO of Riga Stock Exchange, and after that he was working for a global environmental service company, Veolia, in Latvia. That experience gave him knowledge and opportunities to acquire the company in 2014 and further manage it and grow into its current state. Harijs Krongons is second biggest shareholder and deputy chairman of supervisory board. His main experience in M&A activities. He's done a lot of consulting in that area, and he also served on boards of major Latvian companies previously. Māris Mančinskis is the independent member of supervisory council. He is former CEO of Swedbank Latvia. He also sits on a number of supervisory boards in Latvia. Management board for employees. So we start with Gunārs Levits. He has over 20 years of experience in waste management with CleanR Grupa, and he's our main expert in the area. Agita Baltbārde is responsible for corporate affairs, governance, and sustainability. She joined Group in 2022. Prior to that, she worked in various business and government positions. She worked for Relevant Group, and she also was an advisor to Minister of Economics of Latvia. Inta Liepa is responsible for legal compliance and ethics. She joins the group in 2021. Previously, she worked at the Ministry of Finance and also occupied a number of positions in various boards of the companies. Myself, chairman of the management board, I joined the group in 2023. Prior to that, my longest job was at Telecom Ortet, and also I worked in road construction business and in various food processing businesses. So overall, pretty qualified group of people we have in management board and supervisory council. Moving on to our business overview, I will start with this slide, which describes our value chain, and then we'll go into each position in more detail. So we are starting with municipal waste management. There are 2 companies which represent this segment. It's CleanR and Vidas pakalpojumu Grupa. CleanR works in Riga and the Riga suburbs, and Vidas pakalpojumu Liepāja works in western part of the country. And these companies are responsible for collecting of unsorted and pre-sorted municipal waste. Unsorted municipal waste is going to our sorting, recycling and trading area, to the company Vidas Resource Centers. It's the biggest sorting facility for municipal waste in Baltics. It processes around 300,000 tons of unsorted municipal waste every year. And pre-sorted municipal waste goes to CleanR Grupa. It's cardboard, plastic, wood. Then it's resorted, packed up and sent for recycling, either to third-party recyclers or to our recycling company, CleanR Industry, where it's either grinded as refuse-derived fuel and sent forward for regeneration to cement factories or other regeneration facilities, or it's recycled into plastic pellets, which are then used to produce new plastic goods. And going back to our waste management area, so Lotus, it's a medical hazardous waste and desalinization business. It works more or less autonomously. However, from time to time, it also sends for sorting and processing its waste to CleanR Grupa or Vidas Resource Centers. At the end of our value chain is a producer responsibility system, Zaļā josta. That producer responsibility system is meant to manage natural resource tax liabilities for producers and importers of packaging into Latvia. The customers of Zaļā josta pay to Zaļā josta to organize collection and processing of proportion of imported or produced packaging. Plastic, such as plastic, wood, or paper and cardboard, and also for tires, electrical appliances, and other things. So CleanR Vidas Pakalpojumu Centers and CleanR Grupa are responsible for collecting that packaging and sending it to recycling, and then reporting back to Zaļā josta about these amounts, and Zaļā josta pays a fee to the companies for collecting and processing that volume of packaging. Overall, that concludes our full circular economy cycle: collection of waste, sorting, recycling, and putting it back into secondary use. So far for about waste management. Another area is environmental services, and here we have two business lines: indoor cleaning, which is represented by a company called Visi, and urban road and street maintenance and cleaning companies, which is Visi Urban. It works in Riga and Riga area. Komauto, which works in eastern part of Latvia, and Transit Cell, which works in western part of Latvia. So far, this is our business value chain. Geography is we are located in Latvia at the moment, and if we talk about Zaļā josta and Lotus, they work across the whole Latvia. Visi also works in all of Latvia. Our street maintenance, city street and road maintenance companies, Visi Urban works in Riga and Riga area, Komauto in around Cēsis, Valmiera, and Rezekne, and also Bauska, which is eastern part of country, and Transit Cell works in Liepāja and its area, which is in western part. Our processing and sorting facilities are located in Riga and Riga area, and our municipal waste management business is CleanR works in Riga and Riga area, and a little bit in eastern part around Dagda, and vidas resource centers, vidas pakalpojumu Liepāja works in Liepāja. So this is our geography. This slide is to show our customer base and diversification of our revenue. We have consistently worked to reduce our dependence on one business line or one contract. And our biggest revenue line is municipal waste management, which represents 36% of our revenue. Then the next part is urban road and street maintenance, also extended producer responsibility system, each generating 14% of revenue. Then commercial and industrial waste and sorting businesses are generating each 12% of revenue, and 9% comes in from indoor cleaning. So we have pretty diversified customer base and business lines. This slide is a bit detailed. It describes the main customers and pricing principles and regulations for our various business lines. I will go with it shortly. If you can read it in more detail on our webpage after this seminar. So if we talk about municipal waste management business, these are usually 5 to 7 years municipal tenders. And currently we work in 10 municipalities. The biggest contract here is Riga waste management contract for CleanR. Usually these contracts are tendered by municipalities according to public procurement law, and they usually have repricing clauses on an annual basis depending on changes in natural resources, tax and inflation. Moving on to commercial and industrial waste, here is a mixture of different contracts, both public procurement and private markets. Here in public procurement, usually 3-year contracts with repricing clauses. In private contracts, it's a free market and no specific rules, industry rules are applied. In sorting and recycling businesses, if we talk about vidas resource centers, which is a sorting facility in Riga at Getlini, this is operating under 10 years public procurement contract, which is coming now for retendering at the end of this year. It also provides for repricing options depending on natural resource tax and inflation. CleanR industry works with plastic processing, plastic recycling, and RDF business. This is mainly free market without specific terms or pricing strategies. It's talking then about Zaļā josta, which is producer responsibility system. It's free market. Currently 3 companies operate in Latvia in this business and usually repriced on an annual basis. Moving on to indoor cleaning, Visi has a mix of public procurement and private customers. In public procurement, usually it's 3-year contracts with repricing options. Biggest contract here is Riga Eastern Municipal Hospital, and it's a 3-year contract with repricing options. And private contracts are all different and depend on specific circumstances. Urban and road service most of its portfolio is municipal public procurement contracts, which is biggest for Visi Urban. It's a 5-year contract for Riga cleaning maintenance, where we operate in 2 out of 3 zones. In one zone we operate as a main contractor and in another as a subcontractor to our associated company Rodex. It's a 5-year contract which we won at the end of last year. And the same applies for Transit Cell and Komodo. They work mainly on municipal tenders. Now we are going shortly to discuss each our business line. Starting with municipal waste management, 2 companies here, CleanR and Vidas pakalpojumu Liepāja. We are leading operator in waste management in Latvia. We serve around 500,000 inhabitants of Latvia. Our fleet consists of 70 vehicles. We have high customer satisfaction and our fleet is quite modern. 85% is low emission fleet, Euro 6 or better. Here on the picture you see our underground containers, which is in Riga, which is one of our sources of our pride. These containers are not only looking good, but they are also easier to serve, and we can serve these containers with just one person operating the vehicle rather than 2, which is for regular containers. Moving on to medical and hazardous waste management, this is Lautus is a company we acquired at the end of 2024, one of the oldest companies in this area. It serves in all of Latvia around 2,500 customers and generates 12% revenue share for us. Industrial construction and demolition waste. Here it's a CleanR Grupa company that operates in this area. It has the biggest industrial and construction waste sorting facility, which we have opened in 2022. Normally it can sort 200,000 tons of waste annually. It has 40 trucks. And here, these trucks, you can see that I described in a strategy slide. These trucks in summer, they collect industrial and construction waste. In winter, you see these plates in front of the vehicles. To these plates, we connect snow plows and put a distributor of salt on the back of the car. And in winter, they are cleaning snow on the streets of Riga. So this is example of our group synergies. Moving on to sorting, recycling, and trading. Here we have 2 companies, CleanR Industry, which operates our solid recovered fuel or operation, and plastic recycling plant. So from the waste which is sorted from CleanR Grupa and Vidas Resource Centers, they are regrinding it, producing fuel and sending it to regeneration facilities at cement factories and other regeneration facilities. And also they are producing plastic pellets from the waste which is collected. And Vidas Resource Centers is largest municipal waste sorting facility in Latvia. It processes 300,000 tons of waste annually. And it processes all the waste which is collected in Riga area, not only by us, but other operators too. Extended producer responsibility system, Zaļā josta. I described the business principle previously, and it works in all with all areas of packaging and other goods which are subject to the system. So it's all packaging, it's electrical and electronic goods, it's environmentally hazardous products, textile and plastic products. Indoor cleaning, it's a company Visi. Here you see our robot army. These are last generation robots which are pretty smart. They can be left operating on their own during the night. If premises are properly built, these robots can call lift and move between between floors as well. So these are pretty sophisticated machines which are substantially increasing efficiency of our work. Overall, we clean 7 million square meters every day in Latvia. Urban and road servicing, 3 companies here: Visi Urban, Comauto, Tranzītcel. Visi Urban works in Riga and Riga area. As I mentioned here, the biggest contract is Riga municipal street and road maintenance contract. Comauto, based in Cēsis, but works in eastern part of country, and Tranzītcel, which works in western part of our country. Yes, now from business moving to sustainability. Our pride is the chart on the right hand top corner, where you can see that our greenhouse gas emissions which we are avoiding are 2 times more than the ones which we are generating. To explain that graph is that our business model, where we collect, sort, recycle and put back into use waste, avoids 2 times more greenhouse gas emission equivalent tons than we are producing by operating our vehicles and sorting facilities and other business machinery. So basically we are not only carbon neutral, we are carbon negative. Talking about other pillars of ESG in terms of governance, our main focus is responsible supply chain. We take care not that only ourselves we are paying all the tax and providing proper working conditions and equality for all our employees. We make sure that all our supply chain maintains the same ethics and corporate governance standards as ourselves. In terms of society, our biggest care is for our employees. We employ almost 2,000 people, and our employee well-being is focus of the management. And here we have recently created the employee council, which works with management and takes care of important issues such as proper working tools, special equipment, and work environment safety. And in terms of environment, I already mentioned we avoid 2 times more greenhouse gas emissions than we generate. Sorry, one more thing I have to mention is our capex. Half of our capex is green according to taxonomy. According to EU taxonomy. So this is example of all our circular economy activities, starting from waste collection of 3 million tons every year, sorting 200,000 tons of 3 million cubic meters we collect, but sort 8 tons, so 200,000 tons of industrial waste and 300,000 tons of municipal waste. Also recycling and putting back into use the waste. Also our logistics are pretty green. 20% of our light vehicle fleet is electric, 67% is low emission, Euro 6 or better. Yes, so here I finish with my story and we move to more interesting parts, to numbers.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll proceed with financial highlights. I'll be talking about our financial results during the last several years. Also, we will discuss our growth story from numbers perspective, and we will touch upon the details basically of our bond offering we are discussing today. First, before I go through the key financials, I would like to remind everyone that you can find all the details about our figures, about our results in our webpage, basically the CleanRGrupa.lv. There's a section for investors where we have published all our materials such as base prospectus, terms of the tranche, this presentation, of course, and other material which you might be interested in. And there will be in base prospectus there is more detailed discussion of the figures, so the analysts out there can plunge into figures and do the analysis in a more detailed manner. Here I will go through all the key figures I want to highlight during this presentation. So first, let me start with the upper three charts of the slide, where you see the revenue, EBITDA and EBITDA margin, and also net profit. Here, the first emphasis I would like to make is revenue. As you can see, revenue back in 2022 was 68.4 million, while we have reached already 121 million last year. Basically, it means that we have almost double our revenue in 3 years. And interestingly enough, our growth has continued also this year. And as you can see, that 23% growth was delivered also for the first half of this year. We reached 68.6 million of revenue compared 55.6 million last year. Interestingly enough, we are, Juris already mentioned that we are always looking for the efficiencies. We have different efficiency projects. Also, we look at the synergy between our group companies, and it obviously brings the results. As you can see, we have increased our EBITDA, but not only in nominal values, but also EBITDA margin has actually improved over the years, which is not commonly seen, where the company or the group of companies in our case is able to grow and actually improve profitability margins at the same time. But this is the result, I think, because of our focus on efficiency, on synergies within the group, and also, which I will be discussing later down the presentation, is that we are evaluating our M&A activities very carefully, and again, this also is contributing to actually improve the profitability margins. When we go down, we see that there are three charts: interest coverage ratio, net debt, and leverage ratio, and also equity and equity ratio. These are our covenant for the current bonds, and we intend to keep them also in the upcoming bond issue. The gray lines in all of those charts are showing the thresholds. So basically, interest coverage ratio, we have to keep above 3 times. As you can see, the minimum is 3 times. While we have according to latest figures, 16 times. Basically, we are comfortably observing this covenant. The same goes for the rest of the covenant. As you can see, the leverage ratio, we have to keep it below 3.5 times. You can see this gray line. At the same time, we have seen actual figures of 0.3 times, and over the last years and currently 0.1 time. Basically, one might say that we are even under leveraged, but again, I will come back to it in the next slides. This is done intentionally, as we know and we understand that we will have to invest also our own generated profits into future growth, and that's why we have been keeping cash in the company and ready for the next lead. And again, connecting this leverage ratio to the equity, you can see that our basically over the last couple of years and also by June 2025, our equity is above 50%, while we are obliged to keep it at least 30%. But again, it has been increased and has been improving, so we have a very good position from the risk perspective for the potential investors out there. Next, I want to discuss a bit our income statement. Again, I have to remind everyone that you can see detailed information in our base prospectus. We have also all the descriptions and everything. I'm just focusing here on a couple of things I want to highlight during this presentation. First, not only EBITDA have been improving, but also you can see the gross profit. It has been increasing at the same pace and even higher along with the revenue. So basically, very healthy margins, not only on EBITDA level but also on gross profit level. Obviously, the second, I want to highlight our cost of goods sold, or here it says cost of sales. Basically, probably analysts and potential investors might be interested in what are our key cost items, and here that's why we have added the pie chart. You can see on the lower side of the slide, and the biggest and cost item we have is actually remuneration, basically salaries. But here I have to specifically note that you have to add two portions of the pie. Basically, 25% you can see the salaries, plus there is social insurance contributions, those 6%. So basically you have to add. Oh, thank you. Oh, no one can hear me. Yep. No. Okay. So basically, you have to add those two parts together, 25 and 6%. So altogether, our remuneration costs are 31%. Then the next biggest item, you can see it's direct cost of waste management, but these are essentially landfill costs. And this is the cost item we have been trying to improve, and we will improve in the future. Definitely, the better we do the sorting of the waste, and less we have to actually bring to the landfill, the smaller this cost item will be. And then we will certainly keep working on this cost efficiency so that we landfill as little as possible. It actually also corresponds to Green Deal, let's say, and to EU politics in terms of environment. And the third part is you can see 17%. The biggest item is depreciation. Again, it's quite understandable as we are quite capex heavy industry. We have all the garbage trucks, sweepers, etc. Also sorting facilities and sorting lines. So quite a lot of capex and fixed assets are needed, and that's why you can see that this is the third biggest item here. Okay, let me move on. About the revenue, I specifically wanted to note two things. First, once again, to emphasize our growth story. You can see from we have reached 121 million in 2024, while we had only 68.4 million back in 2022 when we issued our current bond actually for the growth. And this, and as you can see, we have grown. But at the same time, we have been diversifying our portfolio. And you can see that here the core waste management sector was 57% back then. And already last year, it decreased to 47%. And as Juris already mentioned, we are working also on diversifying our portfolio. And you can see that we are moving there and succeeding in this target. Now, then I will go through balance sheet assets and equity and liabilities. Again, here's the same, I guess, disclaimer I have to make. Probably I can't go through all the figures out there. You can see all the details in our base prospectus, and there are a lot of information about our financials and our financial standing. But a couple of emphasis here. First, you see intangible assets here. It's quite huge compared to the total assets here. Basically, here the majority of this line item goes to goodwill, which was the result of our previous M&A deals. Again, the second part I want to mention here is property, plant, and equipment item or fixed assets. Probably analysts and potential investors want to understand what makes up our fixed assets. And here the biggest chunk basically here is 47% technological equipment. I have to note here that technological equipment here is all the garbage trucks, sweepers, but not only, also sorting lines and all the equipment related to sorting. So basically all of this is regarded as technological equipment. The second biggest item basically is real estate. We think that it is a strength and a good thing. As you might understand that sorting and also all the waste management operations require some base of operations, let's say, some sorting facilities, etc. And most of those facilities we own. So and all of this business is actually requires certain permissions, and those permissions are attached to certain places. And the good thing is that those places or real estate we own, so that's why it's our strength, because we operate in facilities which require certain allowance from state institutions, and they are ours. And the third thing I want to highlight here is cash and cash equivalents. As you can see, we have a very strong cash position. By the end of June, it was 27.3 million. Again, this comes back to the idea that we understand that we cannot grow only based on the debt, but also on our own funds. And that's why I go next to the next slide, equity and liabilities. And as I mentioned, our shareholders and the management, we are committed on future growth. And here are some figures which are actually stressing it even further. You can see that, like I mentioned, our cash position is very strong, but it is also due to, you see, the line item retained earnings, which has been increasing over the years and improving. And this is the reason for this is that our shareholders have been limiting dividends, and a lot of profits have been kept in the company in order for it to be able to grow even further. Moreover, I have to focus also on this share capital line item. As you can see, by the end of the last year, basically by the end of 2024, our share capital has been substantially increased, which is again another sign of our commitment to future growth. The third part I want to stress here is debt level. I already mentioned that debt levels are comparatively, I would say, low to our profitability capabilities. And here on the chart you can see and debt maturity schedule, where we have shown when our debt is due. The highest column you see here is the end of the year and next year, where basically the biggest chunk is basically bonds, which we are refinancing right now and we are discussing. The next biggest item is leasing. Some of you might ask why lease is so big item while bank loans is very, very marginal. The key thing is that we have been organizing financing via leasing, not only for our trucks and sweepers, but also our sorting lines. And that's why, as it was organized as a leasing, that's why we see everything as under the lease item, while bank loans are comparatively small item. All in all, we have a debt liability of less than 30 million here by the end of the June 2025. So quite a small debt level compared to our revenues and profitability margins. Again, here I want to once again stress the strengths of our balance sheet. So basically, in a visual manner, you can see that equity by the end of June was 53%, so more than half of our balance sheet. And then the lease liabilities made up only 13%, while current bonds we are refinancing, or when we aim at the refinance, is just 12%. So basically, quite a strong balance sheet view out there. Now, about the transaction and the terms. So here I want to highlight the key terms here so that the viewers once again know. First, as you know, we are aiming at a program of up to 50 million, where the first tranche is up to 15 million, where we would refinance our current bonds. We are going with the coupon rate of 6.5%, and we'll be paying interest quarterly, and the full term would be 4 years. The minimum investment or nominal of one bond will be 1,000 euros. So basically, we will offer up to 15,000 bonds at nominal value 1,000 euros. Also, three main points I want to make out that differ from current bond. First, this will be a public offering in Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia in the Baltic states. Previously we had closed offer. Right now this is the public offer. We will be listing in a regulated market. Again, we previously were listed in First North, or you might say alternative market, but we are definitely ready for the regulated market and have been for some time. So that's why we decided to show this improvement in quality. And the third is that this time the bonds will be unsecured. Current bonds we have pledged shares of 3 of our subsidiary companies. At the same time, we acknowledge that such a pledge is discounted heavily, and currently, as I mentioned, we have very strong financials. Plus, looking at and analyzing the market, this is the decision we have made. Last but not least, financial covenants I already mentioned, that we intend to keep the current covenants at their current levels, basically equity ratio higher or equal to 30%, interest coverage ratio higher than 3 times or similar to 3 times, and net debt EBITDA less than 3.5 times. Yes, about risks. And here I have to remind once again, I think this is the third time, that all the details are available in our base prospectus, where we have listed and discussed all the risk factors we deal with in our business. But here I want to just stress the 4 main, let's say, buckets of our risks. So the first bucket here is the geopolitical and macroeconomic risks we have to face with, like macroeconomic risk, like taxation risk, regulatory environment, etc. The second risk bucket is related to the industry, where they might change something regarding the climate transition plans. There might be some kind of a competition in the market, additional or something different. So basically all those risks are related to the industry as such. Then there is a bucket of the risks we face as a business, and these include such risks as labor market risk, let's say litigation risks, technology risks, etc. So basically all the risks related to our daily business operations. And the fourth part or fourth bucket is very, very relevant to the listeners, I guess, today and the potential investors. So we have listed all the risks related to the notes themselves, so basically the bonds themselves. And risks include, I won't read everything again, you can see it in our webpage and base prospectus. But let's say liquidity risks, repayment risks, price risks if you choose to buy. So all those risks related to the notes themselves. How to invest? Here I want to remind everyone that subscription has already begun by 29th of October. And you have time to decide up to 11th of November. So I would suggest if you're really thinking of investing, then don't keep it to the last date. I Another thing is I already mentioned several times, but I have to remind that we have all the information related to the investment, to the bonds, but also on issues on how to invest in our webpage in cleanrgrupa.lv. In the section for investors, there are also a Q&A part and all the relevant information you might be interested in if you want to invest. And as a third option, you can also contact your banks. As you can see, the offering is pan-Baltic, and all the largest financial institutions and banks are involved. So you can contact your relevant bank and ask for assistance. And last but not least, here I want to highlight the specific 6 main points why you should consider investing in our bonds. So basically, first is CleanR Grupa is one of the leading environmental services group, as Juris already mentioned, and figures already show it. The second is we have been diversifying, so we have been improving our risk profile for the investors. This is definitely a plus for our bonds. We have been showing a good track record of growth, and not only growth in terms of revenue, but also growth in terms of EBITDA and EBITDA margins. Again, efficiency and sustainable growth. The fourth I want to highlight here is, like it says, proven industry consolidator. But what we mean here is that we have already a number of M&A deals done basically over the last several years, and the financials show that we have been very efficient in doing so. So this, we consider it one of our strengths. So if we are doing more deals in the future, at least historic track record shows that we can do it efficiently. The fifth is again something you already mentioned about circular economy and ESG. Basically, as we know that circular economy, we are one of the leaders in this area, and green transition. This is basically a business area we are working on, and we know that it won't go away, even if politics are keeping it up and low. We still know that environment is just one, and we can't waste it. So that's why we will be in the business, and we will be one of the leading companies in green transition plans. And the sixth part and the sixth point is corporate governance. I want to highlight here that we have been lately recognized as one of the top 10 companies in Latvia in terms of corporate governance. We have certainly been working on it last 3 years and improving it. And as I mentioned, going for the regulated market is one of the points which actually emphasizes our corporate governance excellence. So these are the main 6 points I think you should consider when deciding on investing or not investing in our bonds. Thank you. That's it for me. We can switch to Q&A session, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. Indeed. Let's now open the floor for questions. Participants, please submit them in writing through the Q&A window. We will start with the questions submitted prior to the call and then continue with those submitted during the webinar. Our first question: what is the dividend payment policy via new bonds issuing period?
First, I want to emphasize here that we have a special undertaking in our bond prospectus regarding the dividends, where we are not allowed to pay dividends, or we have to limit ourselves in dividend payments if we reach certain thresholds in our equity share. So that's one thing. Another thing is, like already I mentioned, historically we have been very modest in paying out dividends, and since we are committed on growth, we probably will keep it that way. And the third point I want to make here is that like formal dividend policy, we are working on it, and it will be available and publicized, I think, in near future.
Thank you. How are you looking at the Estonian market? Are you planning to expand there?
Well, I'm looking quite positive at the Estonian market, and as I mentioned in my presentation in strategy slide, our current bond program is meant to finance our further expansion not only in Latvia but in Baltic region, which obviously includes Estonia. At the present time, we will not disclose any further details in this respect.
Thank you. We'll wait another minute to ensure no additional questions come in, and there is one. Do we understand correctly that as these bonds will be listed on the primary bond list, no income tax will be withheld from interest payments to Estonian and Lithuanian residents? Will this be automatic, or will investors need to contact the company to make sure no income tax is withheld?
Frankly, I cannot answer about our Estonian and Lithuanian investors here. We will certainly look at it and make public this information in our webpage. Currently, apologies, I won't be able to answer right away about our neighbors, but we will certainly look at it and make public this information.
Thank you. We also have an email from the person asking the question, so we'll be able to follow up individually as well. There is one more question. It's not clear where the money is made in the group. Could you point us to the area of business that is generating most of the profits?
Can you put back the presentation, please? Okay, it's here. Okay, this is slide which shows where our money is generated. As you can see, 36% is generated in municipal waste management area, 14% in extended producer responsibility system and urban road servicing, and 12% each in commercial and industrial waste sorting, recycling and trading, and 9% comes from indoor cleaning. Obviously, there are different profitability in each of these business lines. We are not reporting separately on each business lines in terms of EBITDA, but our overall EBITDA margin has been above 20% historically, and we plan to keep it in that way.
Mm-hmm. Can you also specify about the profit?
Not disclosing the profitability by business line, but overall our EBITDA profitability is above 20%. Last year our EBITDA was 25.5 million euros, and this year half year was 16.6. That's as much as I can tell about profitability.
All right, let's hold on half a minute longer to see if no additional questions come in. What EBITDA multiples are you willing to pay in acquisition?
It depends on the market and on the company, and well, there are lots of aspects to take into account. Each deal is specific, and depending on if we're acquiring full company or majority shares. So I don't think it's appropriate now to specify one specific EBITDA multiple, since it can change depending on our strategic priorities and specific companies and negotiations that happening in M&A transactions.
How your business KPI figures align with industry benchmarks or comparing with the main competitors?
Well, if we are talking about our main KPI, which is EBITDA profitability, then we are consistently above the industry average, and other KPIs we are not disclosing publicly, but I must say that we are top of the range in all of our efficiency and profitability ratios.
If you want to grow in Baltics, 50 million debt might not be enough. Where do you want to source real big checks?
Well, maybe Gatis will show you once more our balance sheet. Not only we are now raising 15 million to refinance our existing bond issuance, and the program is up to 50 million, which we will utilize depending on how our M&A transactions are going. But we have very strong balance sheet. We have lots of cash on our balance sheet at the moment, and we still have ability to borrow more. But Gatis can dig in back into the balance sheet.
Yes, I guess the key here would be that, as I mentioned already during the presentation, one thing is that we might need to borrow or let's say an issue up to 50 million in bonds, but also our balance sheet is quite strong, and we have our own funds also on the line. So basically, we can finance the growth not only from borrowing but also from our own funding. But going back, I wouldn't say that 50 million is necessarily not enough. It depends who you look at it, which company you look at, and how you actually structure your growth. So that's why I wouldn't say that it's necessarily small amount for growth in the Baltic market.
Thank you. It seems we have addressed all the questions. We will now conclude the Q&A session. Before closing the call, I hand it back to the company's management for the final remarks.
For your attention, I hope that the information we provided you today will be helpful for your future investment decisions. Please do not hesitate to look up our webpage for more detailed information. Talk to your investment advisors, and hopefully we'll see you among our future investors. Thank you for your attention once more, and see you in future.